Hey.
Yasu,
What's up,
how you
bro?
doing, my brother?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, man?
Yo, I'm even better now seeing you. It's been a minute, bro.
How's it going?
Yo, everything's going
Yeah.
great. We have so many things to talk about, but first and foremost, bro, what is that painting behind you? It is
This
gorgeous.
painting is one of my favorite artists, Garo Hakimian. He's from Montreal.
Okay.
He designed I wrote a book. I'm gonna talk about it maybe.
You
And that's
wrote,
the cover.
okay,
That's the
okay,
cover.
cool. I
That's
didn't
the
know
cover
that.
of the yeah, it's the cover of the book. So yeah, it's being printed soon. It's gonna be out very, very soon, man. I'll send you a copy. You have too many books to read, though, man.
Bro,
I don't know if you can
okay.
add that to the collection.
Bro, it'll be on the top of my list. First of
Okay.
all, you just dropped a huge bomb. You're doing a book, which I had no idea. So let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Second of all, that artist, you're gonna send me that info because yeah,
absolutely.
we're definitely
Absolutely.
gonna
Extremely,
support.
extremely talented guy. You guys have to follow him on Instagram. He is one of a kind.
Yeah,
Super
I,
talented.
I definitely will. And before we just jumped
Yeah.
in, bro, I got really excited. But for the people who don't know, Aren, he's a doctor. He works at the health center in McGill. He started a new company, which we're going to talk about. And apparently, he just wrote a book that's getting published very soon. So we're going to dive into that. And for Aren's audience who don't know me, my name is Christopher Dedeyan. I'm a professional speaker and a peak performance business and life coach. So Aren, bro, I mean, let's start off. What is this book about? When is it coming out? How long did it take you to prepare it? Let's talk about that.
So the book is actually my PhD defense book. So it's my
Okay.
doctoral thesis, and you get to print it at the end, and it becomes 7 years. 7 years it took to
Oh,
write it.
wow.
It's a combination of a lot of the research projects I've undertaken, publications in scientific journals. So a compilation of the book, of course, with transitory messages through the chapters. It's entitled Surgical Innovations of Bone Anchored Hearing Implants. It's the focus of my work. So yeah, it's done. I submitted it. I'm gonna defend it next Monday. So after that, I'm parting ways with the academic world.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, there's so many delicious things you just mentioned. So everybody's, yo, congratulations. Yes,
Thank you.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like amazing, really, really. And brother, sorry for my ignorance. I have to ask you,
No,
when
no,
you're
no.
writing a book such as a thesis for your doctorate and it took you
Mhm.
7 years, how does it read? Like, I'm sure I'm not going to read it the same way as I would buy a book from, Barnes and Nobles or like Indigo or
Yeah. Oh
whatever.
no, for
Is it
sure.
still something that's readable on the aspect of like how it transitions? Like, tell me a bit about that.
It is. It is. Of course, the meat of it, it's highly scientific. It's based on medical scientific publications that I've done throughout the years of studies. But there's an introduction that explains the concept of it, and then there are linking statements between papers. So it's a combination of 11 scientific papers I've published throughout my PhD career. And then so the transitory messages are exactly for the readers to really understand what did we just talk about because it was scientific, and then where are we going, and then the next linking statement summarizes what we just heard and where we're going, and there's an overall discussion and an overall conclusion to give a glimpse of this simplified version of the scientific merit behind it.
I'm sure it's going to be amazing. And
Thank
did you know the author, Robert Greene? He's very
you. No.
famously known for the 48 Laws of Power, Mastery. Uh, Anyways, side note. So the reason why I was mentioning him is because what you were saying, he does a lot of, he kind of goes in depth in a specific
Hmm.
concept. And then afterwards, he's like, this is what I wanted you guys to understand from what you just read. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's what's going to be within this book. So man, I'm super excited. Once again,
Yeah.
congratulations. I can't
Thank you
wait to
so
get my
much.
hand on it, bro. It's going to be on top of my pile of my books and I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to read it and tell you
Thanks.
how I think about it. So that is
For
amazing,
sure.
bro.
I'll send you a
Congrats with
copy.
that.
For
Congrats with
sure.
that, bro.
Thank you, Chris.
And
Thank you.
brother, tell me at the same time, because we had the opportunity to speak together, like on the same stage for the Bishop alumni
Hmm.
when we did that. Essentially, now I think it's over a year and a half ago, before COVID,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. It was
It,
winter. So it must have been winter
so 2
2018.
years. You're right.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
right. Yeah, it was
Winter
probably
2018.
around this time 2 years
Hmm.
ago at this point.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
long
one
time.
thing, why am I bringing this up? Because you gave a speech, obviously, and for people who haven't heard Aden, he's a very eloquent. Well, you guys are hearing it now. He's a very eloquent speaker, but he's a great speech giver as well. And one thing you mentioned that really marked me, you were talking about how even in science, there's a lot of things that happen with clickbait. Now, clickbait, what I'm talking about is title. You're saying, hey, sometimes you see like, oh, science says this and science says that. And for the normal people, let's say, and I'm including myself within this, we read this, oh, science said this, so it's good and all that stuff. And you said, no, we have to go in depth with it and really look at what the actual research is, because people are taking certain words here and there and not actually making the depth, uh,
Hmm.
idea of what it's going to come out. And you even said that at a certain point, they said something that it was actually your research and it was completely the wrong perception of
Yeah,
it. They just took a sentence. And I just wanted to say, like, that really personally, I kind of changed my perception of like, hey, wait a minute, let's be careful of what we're reading, and even when science says, go
hmm,
more in depth with it. And is that something that essentially you still talk about? Is it something that you still put in the forefront? And how do you do that? That kind of like almost like an advocacy, because like I said, we kind of know it in a subconscious way that we're in a clickbait world, but when you see science or like other backing, you're like, oh, okay, it should be right. Like, how do you kind of talk about that?
yeah. It's a great point, and it's becoming more and more relevant. Why? I'm not sure. Science follows the scientific method that was established in the 40s, and it's still the same. So, in order for a scientific publication to be a scientific publication, it needs to be replicable. So, if I do a science, you can do the same thing at home and you should get the same results. So, that method is very rigorous. Everyone follows it. But back then, social media wasn't a thing, and if you wanted to interpret science, you go and read the publication, and if you have questions, you contact the authors. But now there is a second and third and fourth shares and other sources that are sharing the science, and everyone gives a bit of their own touch to it. So something that was, like my study was on how caffeine intervenes with hearing recovery after loud noise. It was a great study. It was based on a Red Bull funded the project because raves and parties, everyone was drinking Red Bull. How does that affect your hearing? Super cool study. We did it in the guinea pig. Um, Down the line, I read one day on the Huffington Post, your daily morning latte is making you deaf, says science. No, no, science.
Bro, it's the Huffington Post. It's not like even though
Yeah,
like I
no,
mean,
of
it's still
course.
a pretty interesting publication. Okay, so what
Yeah,
happened
but
afterwards?
so that's just to say that, especially now, people curse Facebook, and our attention span is like 3 seconds now.
Yeah,
So people don't even open articles. They just share based on the
title.
abstract. So there's a lot of attention that needs to be warranted in that direction. People post stuff and really believe stuff. Like I've had people come to the hospital and stop taking medications because someone on a website on a blog said something. So it's important to educate the public how to read these articles.
Yes.
If they're talking about science, the scientific publication should be mentioned. And if it is mentioned, have a look. Go and try to find where it is, and then see if you can understand it. And if you have questions, contact the actual authors, and I guarantee you they'll answer you.
That is amazing. Like, thank you for giving us that roadmap, because I remember legit once I was giving a speech in Hamilton and I was flying back, and I was in an airplane, and I just so happened that I sat down next to a doctor such as yourself, and he was teaching, like I was reading a book. So as you know, I read a lot. And he's like, hey, he started talking about the book, and he said he's a doctor and he does a lot of publications. And he started showing me some of his work, and he was explaining to me how to read publications. Because once again,
Hmm.
I haven't been in the scientific
Yeah.
world, but I'm somebody that's
Hmm.
extremely curious. That's why I read. I love all of that stuff. But there's a different way to approach it. And he was explaining how to go about that. And there's one thing that you mentioned. I really want to know your opinion, because it kind of interested me. You said that you did a research on caffeine, and the people that funded were Red Bull. Now, nothing wrong with Red Bull and all that. Isn't there a dichotomy there? Like, how is Red Bull
Yeah,
funding
yeah, for sure.
something that they legit like? Listen, once again, sorry for my ignorance, but I feel like
Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah,
counterbalance.
yeah.
Like,
No, for sure.
explain like what did I like? Did I get something spot on there? What can you kind of talk
No,
about that?
no, no. Red Bull actually became, it's one of those companies where if you looked at how they grew, it changed so much. Red Bull has Red Bull Health now. So it's a
Okay.
subdomain of Red Bull, and they do a lot of science. They invest in it, and yeah, of course, it's counter. But if ever the scientific study was against some of their things, they would have adjusted. And it's like the pharmaceutical industry. People think that they're out to make money, and yes, they are, but they're also there because they have humble attentions and directions. So they're not all evil. They're trying to do good as well.
I love that you mentioned that because, like you said, I have a different perspective because I'm not in the world. You have done research with these people. So you're saying that if you would have found something that didn't work out, they're like, all right, cool, we're going to adjust it. And obviously, we're in a
Hmm.
capitalistic society, which I'm a fan of capitalism. I'm more of a fan of capitalism with empathy, to be quite honest. And I feel like that's kind of where you're talking about. Listen, make all the money in the world if you want, as long as you're bringing great value and you're being authentic and you're being essentially empathetic to not hurt anybody else. So I feel like that's very interesting, like point over there with the Red Bull. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that, Aren.
Oh,
And
my
tell me,
pleasure.
tell me about your business because I remember now once again last time we saw each other was last summer, if I'm not mistaken, not this summer, the previous summer at our
Yeah.
wedding, and you were telling me what the company is about. Can you please just explain
Yeah.
it because it's a very interesting thing.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So as you know, I've been in the academic hospital environment for quite a long time. And I work in at the Children's Hospital, the Montreal Children's Hospital, and we see so many Q-tip related injuries. And everyone knows you shouldn't use Q-tips. Most of the people use Q-tips to clean their ears. On the Q-tip box, it says do not insert in your ear. It's actually a makeup tool, if people didn't know that.
I didn't know
So,
that. Okay.
yeah, so Q-tip basically, you have an auditory canal, and Q-tip, as you shove it in, you compact earwax on the eardrum. So you might think that you're cleaning. It might feel good, but you're not. You're not cleaning your ear. You're pushing wax more and more in, and that causes hearing loss, causes dizziness, causes a lot of different things. People who have used Q-tips for 40 years, you have so much earwax compacted that you might not be able to hear properly. And in kids, accidents where you're cleaning your ear and then your little brother hits your elbow, and then you know so it's counterindicated, but I don't blame the population because what's the alternative? Like, people don't know it. If you go to a pharmacist, if you go to a doctor, they'll tell you put oil in your ear. That's the safest way. But what oil? How much oil? How do I put oil in my own ear? So it was a bit complicated. So there was a point where I decided I wanted a new challenge, and I decided to jump in this entrepreneurial adventure. So
Okay.
I patented, I got Health Canada approved an ear spray that is, I didn't reinvent the wheel. It's pure olive oil, but not olive oil from the kitchen. Olive oil that is not virgin. It's pure. It's USB grade. And what it does is it dilutes earwax. It actually works like constipation medication.
Okay.
All you need to do is put oil so it could dissolve the compaction. So that's what it does. It dissolves the compaction, and when you talk, when you speak, when you chew, your ear automatically pushes earwax outwards. So it just aids the body's natural ability to extrude earwax.
Okay, that is first of all amazing, and you're
Yeah.
so spot on because I just see over here as well. Hey, Auden, what do you recommend to clean your ear? Right before you started kind of going on that rant and explaining it, we don't know. Like I still use like the Q-tips, and
Of
like
course,
that's the thing
everyone
that
does.
like you said,
Yeah.
we've kind of been used to it. Now, as you're saying, when you do the spray, because I've never done anything like that, and I'm open to it, and I'm honestly just I'm a fan of you, so I'm gonna support anything you do. So I'm excited to buy this product. I don't know if it's out. You'll tell me in a second. But
Yeah.
once you spray it, I'm guessing it takes time for the wax to come out. Is this something like the whole day you're going to be sitting down and wax is going to be coming out of your ear? How's that process happen?
No, actually, it's not that bothersome. People assume that, but once you spray it, I mean, it depends how you do it. I'm open to anything. People tell me, should I do it? Like, when do you use Q-tips? Like before the shower or after the shower? do the same, but use it 3 to 4 consecutive days, because chances are you have a lot of clogged earwax. So by using it consecutively, you're lubricating the ear canal, and it's diluting the earwax. And yeah, as you mentioned, if you use it tonight, tomorrow morning, you might wake up with like a bit of oil gathered on the outside of your ear canal, but that's okay. You wipe it out. And then I've had, the company's been out for 2 months now, and the feedback's been really, really cool. And I'm glad people are enjoying it. Obviously, I can't replace the feeling of, the Q-tip entering your ear, which is tough. Most people are like, it's not even about cleaning, it's about the addiction of the feeling, which I understand. But use them together.
Wait a minute. That's interesting. There's actually people who are like, hey, I like the feeling of the Q-tip more than the actual result of it.
100%. Oh yeah,
Wow, that's
100%.
interesting.
People are addicted to the feeling of, yeah. And there's only one other place on your human body that you have the same nerve endings that you have in
I'm
your
gonna
ear
ask
canal.
you, bro. You're like, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm gonna ask, and I'm hoping it's gonna be good. What is that nerve ending, brother? You brought it up. I'm gonna take it there.
Uh, the egg.
You know, you can't.
The
But I
other.
think we understood where that nerve ending is. So yeah,
Yeah.
that is interesting.
So
So I
I
learned definitely a
understand.
lot of things.
I
Now, here's
understand
my
where that
next
comes.
question. You said
Yeah.
so. You've been out for a couple of months. Where can we buy it? Where's the best place to
hmm
connect to get it? Do you sell it online? Is it in the pharmacies? Like, where is that
Uh,
aspect going to go about?
yeah. So we sell online. We sell online all across Quebec. Um, www.curotic.com. The company is called Curotic
And I'll
Solutions,
tag
and
it. I'll tag it as well. So
yeah.
you guys don't need to write.
So
I'll,
it's
I'll definitely tag it in.
Curotic. Yeah, curotic.com. You can order online, or we started selling at pharmacies. We're in 12 different pharmacies now in Laval and Montreal area, and we're growing. This is it's new. The feedback's been good. It hasn't been too challenging. And what helped me a lot is that I know the field. I know that there is the need for this, and you know so whenever I approach the pharmacist or the health professionals, they're excited. They're excited that finally there's this alternative that's easy to use, that's made in Quebec, it's non-GMO, it's vegan, it's simple,
I
it's a
love it.
natural product, it has no active chemical ingredients.
I love it. And there's a couple of things you mentioned over there, and some people maybe have caught it or not. And the reason why I want to highlight is because I have a very entrepreneurial community and background. For real, to be an entrepreneur, you have to look at two things. What are you creating that's going to bring value, and don't reinvent the wheel, which are two things you mentioned. You're like, hey,
Hmm.
I saw that there's a need in the marketplace. Even though necessarily the clientele is not educated on it, I could educate them on it. And second thing is, how can I bring this to the marketplace without necessarily reinventing the wheel? Like you said, we're putting olive oil. So, okay, let's just make it
Yeah,
more accessible. Let's just make it better. Let's just make it cleaner,
exactly.
which is exactly what you're talking about. So all
Yeah.
I see is great success within this. And let me ask you like
Thanks.
a more selfish question.
Hmm.
Where is the closest place in Laval that I can go pick it up? This is directly for me because I want to go buy one.
I could
Which pharmacy has one in
I
Laval?
could send you the link of pharmacies. I actually sent them today to someone. I don't remember where they are, but
Okay.
yeah, if you see a pharmacy with an Armenian owner, chances are they
Okay.
sell it.
I love it, bro. It's our
And we
Armenian
have a
community.
lot
I
of
love that.
Armenian pharmacists. A lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, I know exactly. Oh, my sister's like, yeah, I got you. I know where we're gonna go for it. All right. Awesome. And she just said, yeah, my sister's like, grab two. I got you, Steph. I'll definitely buy two of them. So that is
Yeah.
amazing. And Aren, I mean, I feel like we could talk until tomorrow morning, and I want to be respectful for your time as well. And yeah, I feel like everybody's been loving the content that you're giving here. So a couple of things just highlight, man. Congratulations for your book that's coming out. Congratulations for the
Thank you.
thesis. Congratulations for the company. And one last question. What can I do to support you, bro? Me personally, is there anything that I could do to support you more with everything that you're doing?
Oh man. You already do, Chris. We have chats from time to time randomly, and I appreciate that. And as long as I like your vibe, your energy, and the humbleness and the directness, and I hope more people remain curious and humbly seek it what they want, and it's fine. Like trial and error. Like first of all, there's no one in my family who's deaf. I dedicated 7 years in my life for hearing loss. I'm not an. I don't think I'm an entrepreneurial. I don't have that vibe in me growing, but I decided to, try it out and see what happens. So keep trying, be
Uh,
curious.
First of all, then thank you for those compliments. Second of all, that's something that I had asked you, and this is so crazy because, like, for people that don't know me, I'm dyslexic and I'm a learning disability advocate, and I'm that because I'm dyslexic. And when you presented this the first time, the first thing I asked you, and I'm like, hey, do you have somebody or like in your family that's deaf, or like I knew that you weren't deaf, but I'm like, how was it close? You're like, no, no. You remember what you told me? This is exactly what you told me. He's like, you told me that you saw a video on Facebook of a kid, like legit babies, putting on what is it called? Sorry, I don't want to say the proper term. The ear
Hearing implant, the auditory implant.
yeah, the hearing implant.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw a couple of videos of kids putting hearing implants, and you're like, the second I saw that, he's like, that was like the greatest thing that it kind of touched me. And then from there, you're like, yo, you dedicate your life towards that. And I'm like, that is the most honorable thing to ever look at and approach. And yeah, man, just thank you for everything that you're doing, brother, because I know that you're serving a huge community, bro.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. And yeah, like you said, for me, being able to restore deafness in kids, especially, I think it's the greatest advancement medicine and technology has done up to date. We're going to do many more, but we're re-giving a sense to someone. So it was pretty touching to me. That's why I went in it, and
that's amazing.
It was fun. The journey's
been
fun.
Amazing. That is amazing. And as well, I'm going to invite everybody, if you guys want more information on this, go check out all his content. Go check out his TED Talk as well. He's at a 10X talk, and he talks about how you hear through vibration, through your bone, essentially like Beethoven, a big part of his career of him composing music. He did that through that technique. So yeah, once again, Aren, man, brother, it legit flew by. I'm like looking at the time. I have like a timeline that my team tells me, hey, Chris, don't pass this timeline, but I feel like I could do this so much longer. And brother, there'll be other opportunities. Once again, congratulations for everything. And thank you, Yahbad.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the Friday Flow.
All right. Thank you, my brother. Speak to you soon.
Take care, man. Bye.